Hello everyone. So this is part 13 of electrophilic addition to CC multiple bond, and today's topic is addition of O3, that is ozone, and the reaction is ozonolysis. So first of all we have to know why does O3 undergo addition to CC multiple bond. Fine. So there must be some electrophilic site. So for that we have to see first the canonical forms of ozone. So here we have total 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 canonical structures. Now, if you focus on structure 2 and 3, the middle oxygen is carrying positive charge. But this oxygen cannot act as electrophile. Why? Because here, surrounding this oxygen, total number of electron present 8. So, there are total 6 electrons coming from bond pair, actually between 2 oxygen, and 2 electron that is coming from as lone pair. So, that is why octet is complete. So it cannot act as electrophile. But if we see structure 1 and 4, here this oxygen and this oxygen, it can act as electrophile. So the terminal atoms of O3, it may function as either E plus or Nu minus, because there is O minus also. So it can undergo ready 1,3 dipolar addition. At 1 and 3 position there is opposite charge, plus and minus. So that is why it can be added to CC multiple bond, and it is known as 1,3 dipolar addition. And it is initiated by electrophilic end. That is why it is electrophilic addition to CC multiple bond. Now, one thing which is completely new in case of ozonolysis is that in other reactions we have seen that there is cleavage of pi bond only. But here we will also have cleavage of sigma bond. Okay. So not just pi bond is broken, but sigma bond, that is also broken here. So up to this point it is actually addition reaction, because after that this step is actually oxidative cleavage. Okay, so why it is oxidative cleavage? Because from CC bond basically finally we are getting CO bond. So that is why it is oxidative cleavage. But this oxidative cleavage, it can be done by reductive workup as well as oxidative workup, that we will see after some time. But this is the general scheme for ozonolysis. So first there is addition of O3 and both sigma and pi bond is broken, we are getting ozonite, and finally this completely, this part and this part, it is clipped and we are getting carbonyl products. Fine. Now we will focus on the mechanism. So what is ozonolysis actually? Actually there are so many steps, and the complete process of preparation of ozonite by adding O3 to CC multiple bond, this is the first step. Then decomposition of the resulting ozonite, and finally the identification of the products. All these together, that will be known as ozonolysis. And this is also oxidative cleavage, as we have mentioned in the previous slide, where both pi and sigma bonds are broken. It may be double bond as well as it may be triple bond. So here we will see the mechanism in case of alkene, but we will also see it for alkyne, that is CC triple bond. So first there is addition of, that is 1,3 dipolar addition. So O minus, that is CC double bond, it will attack this O plus, and O minus, it will attack this carbon. So we are getting CO bond, 2 CO bond. Okay, still there is, this bond is still present, and this is known as molozonite. Now molozonite, it is not very stable, so it will quickly decompose to, from this part we are getting carbonyl, and from this part we are getting Zwitter ion. Now this Zwitter ion and the carbonyl, if we write in this way, that is C this side, oxygen this side, now the attack, it will take place like this. So basically this oxygen, now it is coming between these two carbon. Okay, and from molozonite we are finally getting ozonite. So ozonite is comparatively more stable compared to molozonite, and this Zwitter ion, we can also prove its presence. How? If you add methanol in the medium, then we can isolate OMe. Okay, so this will prove that there is formation of Zwitter ion. sorry, it is, I have drawn the wrong structure. So it will be CO O minus. So think of methanol, it is actually H plus and MeO minus. So basically the OMe part, that is the negative part, it will be added to this side, and here we will have OH. So this type of compound we can isolate, and it proves that Zwitter ion was formed in the medium. Okay. Now, what is the support for this type of mechanism? That first there is formation of Zwitter ion and carbonyl compound, and then there is formation of ozonide. How we can prove that? So here we have taken unsymmetrical alkene. Unsymmetrical alkene, this side we have methyl, this side we have ethyl. So first there will be formation of molozonide that we have already seen in the previous slide. So in the molozonide, the 3 oxygen, they will remain side by side, and CC bond still it is present. It is a structure of molozonide, and it is not very stable, so it will be decomposed. And if you follow the blue arrow, then we are getting this carbonyl compound and B as Zwitter ion. And if we follow the purple arrow, then we are getting the carbonyl compound C and the Zwitter ion D. So the next step, that is, now there will be recombination of the Zwitter ion and the carbonyl compound. But here we have 2 different types of carbonyl compound, and we have 2 different types of Zwitter ion. Okay, so what it means, that A, it can combine with B as well as A can combine with D. Similarly, C can combine with B as well as with D. So first, if there is combination of A and B, then we will be getting this type of Cis and trans, 2 different ozonide we will get. And also if C and D is combined, same combination we will get. Okay, so this is the combination between AB and CD. Now we will also see that AD and BC, that is another possibility. So here we can see that when it is AD, then both the methyl group, they are on the same side, that is cis, and they are on the opposite side, this is trans. Similarly, if it is C and B, now both are ethyl group, same side cis, opposite side trans. So here total how many ozonides we get? In the previous slide we have obtained 2, and here we are getting 4. So 2 plus 4, total 6. So basically from this type of unsymmetrical alkene, total 6 ozonides are isolated. So this is the strong evidence in favor of the mechanism, that first there is cleavage of the molozonide, there is formation of Zwitter ion and carbonyl compound, and then there is recombination of the Zwitter ion and carbonyl compound, and we are getting ozonide. So there must be, that is molozonide must be broken, otherwise we cannot get this type of mixed ozonide. Okay, so 6 ozonides we are getting from the unsymmetrical alkene. So up to this point we have seen the mechanism of ozonide formation only. Next there will be cleavage of the ozonide. Now as I have said, there may be 2 types of decomposition. One is oxidative decomposition, it may be reductive decomposition. So when there is oxidative decomposition, basically we will use some oxidizing compounds, and if it is reductive decomposition, there will be some reducing agent present. So in reductive decomposition, here from this part we are getting carbonyl, and from the other part also we are getting carbonyl. But if it is oxidative decomposition, see, when R1 and R2 on the left hand side, we are getting the same compound as we have obtained in case of reductive decomposition. But when there is hydrogen present, that is CH bond is present, now instead of getting carbonyl, that is CO bond only, we are getting COOH. So oxidative workup, it oxidizes sp2 hybridized CH bond. Basically why we are calling it sp2, because initially it is CC bond. That is, initially if we write the structure, it will be like this. So sp2 hybridized CH bond, if it is present, then it will be converted to COH. And similarly, suppose there is R1C, R2 double bond C, H and H. So if both are H, that is 2 CH bond, then from this part, what we will get? We will get CO2. Okay. So terminal CH2, if it is present, this is terminal CH2, that will be converted to CO2 in case of oxidative decomposition. But if it is reductive, we are simply getting carbonyl compounds. In case of that is left hand side, we are getting ketone, but right hand side, as there is hydrogen, we are getting aldehyde. So from the structure of alkene, we can easily predict that what type of compounds we will get after reductive decomposition and after oxidative decomposition. So for reductive decomposition, it preserves all other aspects of the compounds. Fine. And it is done by different reagents that are mentioned here. And in case of oxidative decomposition, it is mainly done by hydrolysis assured by adding H2O. Finally, we will see the ozonolysis of alkyne. So in case of alkyne, it may be internal alkyne, where both sides we have some R group, and it may be terminal alkyne. So on the right hand side we have CH. That is the difference. So why we have taken two different types of alkynes? Because our products are different. So after this is basically oxidative ozonolysis. Oxidative workup. So H2O2 is used. So when it is oxidative workup, this part we are getting RCOOH, and from the other side also we are getting carboxylic acid. So two different types of carboxylic acid. And if R is same as R prime, that is both are same R group, then we will get same carboxylic acid, but two molecules we will get. And if it is terminal alkyne, from this part we are getting CO2, and this part as same, just like before. Fine. So what is the mechanism? So here similar type of attack will take place, but see here we have two bonds between CC, unlike in case of alkene where there is only one bond. Next there will be CC bond will be broken, and OO bond, that will also be broken. So this is same structure, but it is written in a different way. That is, this one is written in a different way here, so that we can understand the mechanism in a better way. So this is our ozonide. Now unlike in case of alkene, where the ozonide there is no bond between C and C, but here we have CC bond present because we have started from alkyne. So there is already 3 bonds. So this is the ozonide. Next step will be oxidative decomposition. So H2O, first it will attack here, and there will be CO double bond, and CO bond, that will also be broken, and here negative charge will be on oxygen, and it will take hydrogen from H2. Okay, next, sorry, one OH is missing here. This OH bond will be broken, and negative charge on O minus, so it will be HO minus, but finally it will take the proton, so it will be HOOH. And next there will be attack by the lone pair of hydrogen peroxide. CO bond will be broken, and there will be O minus, and it will take the proton. And finally there will be formation of MeCOO-COMe, that is the anhydride. Okay. So basically here this hydrogen and this OH together it is making H2O, and it is removed, and we are getting anhydride, and this anhydride it will react with H2O, so there will be hydrolysis, and we are getting 2 molecules of carboxylic acid. Why? Because we have started from, it is same group both sides. So the starting alkyne, it is containing same group both sides, so we are getting two same molecules of MeCOOH, that is CH3COOH. But if these two groups are different, we will get 2 different carboxylic acid. Fine. See here H22 is actually generated in the medium. We are not adding it separately, so better we omit this H2. So that is all about the introductory part of ozonolysis, because in the next part also we will be discussing related to that is some problem regarding ozonolysis, and why it is so important because there is some important application of ozonolysis in organic chemistry. So we will discuss the application as well as some problems. Okay, so if you find the video helpful, please like, share and subscribe. I will meet you in the next video. Until then, goodbye and thank you for your time.